Welcome, explorers. Deep in the heart of one of the most unforgiving landscapes on Earth lies a place so extreme, so relentless, that even Mother Nature herself seems to challenge its very existence. Welcome to Furnace Creek, California, where the ground scorches, the wind burns, and the very air conspires against human life. And yet, 136 souls call this place home. But why? Why would anyone willingly choose to live in the hottest inhabited place on the planet? Y'all, this ain't just heat. This is Satan left the oven on and forgot about it, heat. We're talking about a place where 134 degrees Fahrenheit, or 57 degrees Celsius, was officially recorded, the hottest temperature ever on this planet. And somehow, some way, people actually pay to live here. Y'all got AC units from NASA? What's the deal? Furnace Creek didn't just pop up out of nowhere. Like most wild places in the US, it all started with money. Back in the late 1800s, a group of ambitious or crazy folks realized that the desert wasn't empty, it was hiding treasure. And by treasure, I mean borax. Borax, aka white gold, was used for soap, glass, and keeping laundry from smelling like a middle school locker room. The 20 mule team wagons were invented here. Yes, literally mule-powered convoys hauling borax across the desert like some kind of Old West version of Amazon Prime. At its peak, Furnace Creek wasn't just 136 residents. Oh no, at one point it had over 1,000 people. Why did they leave? Mining dried up, the heat was too much. There were literally better places to live, everywhere. By the time air conditioning was invented, the town had already shrunk down to a ghost of its former self. Let's talk survival. The air here is so dry that your sweat evaporates instantly, meaning you don't even realize you're dehydrating. Locals have to drink a gallon of water a day, minimum. If your car breaks down here, hope you brought extra water, a satellite phone, and Jesus himself. There are places where cell service does not exist. The heat can kill you in less than a few hours. So what do 136 people do all day in the hottest town on Earth? Tourism. Furnace Creek is inside Death Valley National Park, one of the most visited parks in the US. The Furnace Creek Inn and Ranch Resort is a luxury hotel where rich people go to pretend they're explorers for a weekend. It even has a golf course, because what's a better idea than playing golf in a literal oven? Essential jobs. Many of the locals work for the National Park Service or for Xanterra, the company running the hotels and golf courses. That means ranger jobs, mechanics, maintenance workers, and hotel staff. The golf course here, it's the lowest elevation golf course in the world. People say it's the only golf course where you can get a sunburn at 7 a.m. Furnace Creek actually has a pool. It's spring-fed and naturally heated, meaning it doesn't freeze in winter. But let's be honest, you're not swimming in this heat unless you want to feel like a boiled lobster. Bats take over the sky at night. At sunset, thousands of bats come out because they love the heat. If you're swimming at night, you might just get a bat drive-by. People abandoned entire settlements out here. Places like Rhyolite, Ballarat and Panamint City were once bustling with miners and outlaws. Today, only skeletons of buildings remain covered in sand, dust and regret. Some locals swear there's paranormal activity out here. Ghost hunters claim they've seen shadow figures and heard voices in abandoned mining camps. People report phantom sounds of pickaxes and wagon wheels, like the old miners are still working in the dead of night. In a land where the earth itself seems to breathe fire, Furnace Creek stands as a testament to nature's extremes. But why? Why does this tiny stretch of desert hold the record for the highest temperature ever recorded on Earth? 134 degrees Fahrenheit. Geography is against you. Furnace Creek sits at 190 feet below sea level. That means the air here is denser, trapping heat like a pressure cooker. The heat gets trapped. The valley is shaped like a giant bowl, so once the heat comes in, it stays in. Imagine a car with the windows up, except the car is 3,000 square miles wide. There's no escape. No clouds, no trees, no ocean breeze, just the merciless sun cooking the ground to 200 degrees Fahrenheit in some spots. Bruh, this heat don't play fair. This ain't, oh, it's a little warm outside heat. This is, if you touch the wrong metal, your hand is now part of it, heat. This is birds don't even fly here for fun, heat. This is you ever seen a mailbox melt, heat. Every year, people underestimate Furnace Creek. Some try to hike in midday, mistake. Some run out of gas and just start walking, bigger mistake. Some leave their windows rolled up while sleeping in a car, biggest mistake. Real survival stories from Furnace Creek, the just a short hike disaster. A couple thought they could do a 3-mile hike at noon. They only made it a mile before one of them collapsed. Luckily, rangers found them before it was too late, dehydrated, hallucinating, and barely able to walk. The boiling shoes incident. A tourist wore flip-flops while walking around Badwater Basin. The asphalt hit 180 degrees Fahrenheit and his flip-flops melted. He had third-degree burns on his feet and had to be evacuated. The rental car left to die. A European tourist's car broke down at sunset. Instead of staying inside and waiting for help, they decided to walk 10 miles to the nearest station. Rangers found them the next morning, alive but barely. Listen, if your first instinct in the middle of Death Valley is to start walking, you have immediately failed the survival test. I don't care if you've watched Bear Grylls, Les Stroud, or even MacGyver reruns. This ain't the place to test your adventurer's skills, my guy. So, why do millions of people visit this heat trap every year? Because humans are wild, thrill-seeking creatures, and Furnace Creek has some of the weirdest things to offer. First up, the heat challenge. Some tourists come here just to say they survived it. They step outside their air-conditioned SUVs, stand in the sun for 10 minutes, and brag about it online. There's even a Furnace Creek heat challenge on social media where people record themselves seeing how long they can last. Spoiler alert. It usually ends with them running back inside. Then we have running a marathon in Death Valley. The Badwater 135, one of the hardest ultramarathons on Earth. Runners go 135 miles from Death Valley to Mount Whitney in July. Temperatures on the asphalt can melt shoes. Some runners even put their feet in ice baths every mile just to avoid burns. You're voluntarily running on the world's biggest stove? Couldn't be me. And finally, playing golf in an oven. Furnace Creek Golf Course is the lowest elevation golf course in the world. People love saying they played around in the hottest place on Earth. The course has its own survival rules, including mandatory water stops every 3 holes. Weird law? Technically, it is illegal to die in Death Valley. Sounds crazy, but it's a law in some parts of the park. The reason? If you die there, it's expensive to remove your body. They'd rather not deal with it. So if you feel like passing out, please do it elsewhere. Fun fact, the temperature on the ground can be hotter than a steak on a grill. In 2020, a guy fried an egg on the asphalt here, and it cooked in under 2 minutes. Strangest animal sightings. Despite the extreme heat, some wild animals still live here. People have spotted coyotes, bighorn sheep, and even scorpions that survive at 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Nature really said good luck and left these creatures to figure it out. Breaking down in Furnace Creek is not like breaking down in a city. No gas stations for miles, no water unless you brought it, no Uber, no tow trucks on demand, just you, the sun, and your questionable life choices. Survival steps if you get stuck: do not leave your car. Stay in the shade. Drink water constantly. If it's night, wait for rescue. If it's day, conserve energy. Pray to whatever higher power you believe in. This ain't Fast and Furious. You're not driving out of Death Valley if your car quits. With only 136 permanent residents, you might wonder, who are these people? Most are park rangers, hotel staff, scientists and climate researchers, and off-grid survivalists who probably have a bunker somewhere. Despite the challenges, these people love it here. They adapt to the heat. They enjoy the solitude. Some have lived here for decades. If you ever thought about quitting your 9-to-5 and moving somewhere nobody will bother you, this is it. 1. Why is Furnace Creek so hot compared to other deserts? Furnace Creek is 190 feet below sea level, meaning the air is denser and traps heat like an oven. The valley's shape prevents heat from escaping, and lack of vegetation means the sun bakes the ground all day. 2. What was the hottest temperature ever recorded in Furnace Creek? 134 degrees Fahrenheit or 57 degrees Celsius on July 10, 1913, the highest recorded air temperature on Earth. 3. Could Furnace Creek ever get hotter than 134 degrees in the future? It's possible. Some modern sensors have recorded temperatures above 130 degrees, but they must be officially verified. Climate change could increase the chances of breaking the record. 4. Why do people still live in Furnace Creek if it's so extreme? Most residents work for Death Valley National Park. Rangers, hotel staff, researchers. Some people love the isolation, desert beauty, and the challenge of living here. 5. What should I do if my car breaks down in Furnace Creek? Stay with your car. Walking in extreme heat is deadly. Call for help immediately if you have signal. Ration water and stay in the shade. Use a reflective blanket to stay cool if possible. 6. What's the best time of year to visit Furnace Creek? Winter from November to March, pleasant temperatures in the 60s to 70s Fahrenheit or 15 to 25 degrees Celsius. Summer from June to September. Avoid unless you're prepared for extreme heat. 7. Can you actually cook food on the ground in Furnace Creek? Yes. The asphalt and rocks can reach 180 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 82 to 93 degrees Celsius. People have fried eggs, cooked bacon, and even baked cookies on the rocks. 8. What happens if you get lost in Death Valley? Do not panic. Stay put. Find shade. A small drop in temperature can make a big difference. Signal for help. Use mirrors, a flashlight, or bright clothing to attract attention. Can I visit Furnace Creek in a regular car, or do I need a 4x4? Well, a regular car is just fine for paved roads, but if you plan on exploring off-road areas, a 4x4 is highly recommended. What's the best way to stay cool while visiting Furnace Creek? Wear lightweight, loose clothing, drink lots of water, at least 1 gallon per person per day, and limit outdoor activity to early morning or evening. How much water should I bring when visiting Furnace Creek? The National Park Service recommends at least 1 gallon per person per day. If hiking, double that amount. Is there anywhere to stay overnight in Furnace Creek? Yes. There's the Oasis at Death Valley, Furnace Creek Campground, and other small lodges. Can I camp in Furnace Creek? Yes, but summer camping is not recommended. The campgrounds have water and shade, but it's still dangerously hot. How do people get mail in Furnace Creek? There is a small post office that serves the community. Residents rely on weekly deliveries from nearby towns. What animals actually live in Furnace Creek? Surprisingly, Furnace Creek has coyotes, bighorn sheep, roadrunners, lizards and scorpions. Some animals have adapted to survive in extreme heat by burrowing underground. Are there rattlesnakes in Furnace Creek? Yes, but they are rarely seen in extreme heat. They come out at night when it's cooler. How do plants survive in Furnace Creek? Some plants like creosote bushes and cacti have deep roots to find water. Others can go dormant for months or even years until it rains. Does it ever rain in Furnace Creek? Yes, but rarely. The average rainfall is less than 2 inches per year. When it rains, it can cause flash floods because the ground doesn't absorb water well. Why is there a golf course in Furnace Creek? Furnace Creek has the lowest elevation golf course on Earth, 214 feet below sea level. It's an attraction for people who want to play in the world's hottest course. What's the most expensive thing in Furnace Creek? Gasoline. Prices can be $2 to $3 per gallon, higher than in nearby cities. Tourists have reported paying up to $10 per gallon. Does Furnace Creek have an airport? Yes, there is a small airstrip called Furnace Creek Airport. However, it's mainly used for private flights and emergency landings. What's the weirdest law in Furnace Creek? It's technically illegal to die in some parts of Death Valley. Removing bodies is expensive, and authorities would rather you not die there. Has anyone ever tried to live off-grid in Furnace Creek? Yes, but it's extremely difficult. There are no natural water sources and temperatures can be deadly. Could Furnace Creek be used for Mars training missions? Scientists have studied Furnace Creek as a Mars-like environment due to its extreme heat and dryness. What's the craziest Furnace Creek world record? The hottest recorded temperature on Earth, 134 degrees Fahrenheit or 57 degrees Celsius. The lowest golf course in the world, 214 feet below sea level. The longest ultramarathon in the heat, 135 miles in Death Valley. Furnace Creek is more than just a town. It is a testament to human resilience, to the ability to survive in the most unlikely of places. From the scorching ground to the relentless sun, life finds a way. But the question remains, could you? Would you call this place home? Look, I respect the people who live here, but if I have to choose between this and literally anywhere else, I'm picking anywhere else. Y'all got it. Y'all are definitely built different. Would you ever visit Furnace Creek? What's the hottest temperature you've ever experienced? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more extreme places, weird facts and wild adventures.